Chatting to Steve Royle from Britain's Got Talent. How are you, sir? How you doing?
I'm very good, thank you very much. Yeah, the chink of light has appeared at the end of the tunnel, I do believe. The phone's been ringing and bookings. People are looking at summer with optimism. It's an amazing time to be alive.
We're going to go through some of the gigs that you may have planned now that Boris says we can go out and be with people, be with human beings again. We'll go through that in a bit. First of all, I just want to ask you, since Britain's Got Talent, do you go anywhere and people look at you and they go, go on then, do something funny, do something a bit crazy? Do you get some of that?
Yeah. Actually, do you know what's weirder? I'm imagining it's more to do with the mask situation. Is it? I mean, you get that anyway, I suppose. Any celebrity must get that look where people are looking at them going, is it them? But it's almost added with the masks. And I've noticed a couple of times I've been in in the supermarket car park and people watch me all the way to the car. A guy did it the other day. I was watching, I thought he knows who I am, right? And he kept looking at me like that, little nod. But it wasn't until I took my mask off in my car on the way out and he leant through the window and went, this big wave. Oh. So yeah, it's weird. It's you have to be recognised from that. Luckily, the glasses and the bald head are quite distinctive. So I can be recognised. I'm one of the few that can be recognised from the nose upwards.
So did your family ever say to you, or did before Britain's Got Talent, did they ever go, "Oh, just behave, Steve, just calm down, put the juggling balls down, stop it," or anything like? Or were they very supportive and go, the crazier, the better?
You know what, they have there's a phrase in my house, and they always, that my eldest especially, she turned 18 like a couple of weeks ago, and she does it all the time. She goes, "Oh, very funny, Dad. You should be a comedian. You should be a comedian." That's what I get. Jen, yeah. Do you know what? And I know a lot of comedians do this. They say, "Well, I tested in front of the family. I always in front of." It's the last thing I do because I just know I do some material in front of my wife, for example, and she'll just go, "I don't get it. I don't. Why is it funny?" And I think, do you know what? I'm just better off testing this in front of a live audience and risking a death on stage than accepting accepting your view on this. So yeah, I'm just the miserable dad. Ask the kids; they'll say it. They'll tell you that straight to your face. They'll say, "Oh no, it's because they get it asked all the time. They get it asked. I bet it's fun. I bet it's fun and mad living with your dad, isn't it?" You go, "No, he's miserable at the best of times, but during this lockdown, he's been unbearable."
Oh no. Has anybody ever said to you, please don't be offended by this, by the way, right? It is quite a serious question, but I mean it in the nicest possible way, Steve. There's nobody doing your style of comedy, in my opinion, anymore. So the guys of Freddie Starr not with us anymore. The guys of Les Dawson, that the very visual, physical, hard work comedy is not really around anymore. How do you feel about being put in that kind of bracket that you're doing something that's not seen very often?
Do you know what? I'm delighted about it because for years I've been kind of conscious of it to the point where I've wondered whether I'm doing something wrong. Because especially on what you might term the alternative comedy circuit. I mean, I go on there and I have done sets in the past where I'll do purely stand up and just telling jokes, etc., to a microphone. But when I do the full act with the juggling it and that, I get other comics who look at it and go, "Oh, it's not really, shouldn't really be doing this. It's not right. It's not right for this gig. It's not a stand-up. It's not." And then I'm going, "Well, where can I do this?" I'm like you said there, I'm the only one doing this kind of material. The summer seasons have long gone. Where outside of pantomime, which is my one outlet each year to do this kind of nonsense and stupidity on stage. And so no, I don't take that as an offense at all. I take it as a huge compliment because you've got to be distinctive. You've got to stand out. I mean, one of the reasons I've got a very loud shirt on at the moment, you do have to stand out from the crowd. And like I said, I suppose if I had been, I cite this as a negative thing a lot of the time. Is I say, I wish I'd been born in the 70s and 80s because that's when the summer seasons are and I'd have a great career. But I suppose being the only one doing it now just does set me out a little bit different from all the others, I guess. Yeah.
Who inspired you to do what you do now then? Going back to maybe school days, I'm not going to say you're old or anything, but way back then at school, somebody and go,
Well, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so the names that you mentioned before, the stupidity of Freddie Starr, and I was never a massive fan of Freddie Starr, but I could see. I suppose I analyze comedy a lot more than maybe some comics do, and I don't necessarily find myself funny. This is the strange thing. I'll come up with ideas, but I'm always writing for a certain group of people other than myself. I think it's probably true about most comics. They are more entertained by people who are very different from themselves because they look at them and think, I couldn't do that. And so I really admire that. Whereas, you know, if I see some clown pulling funny faces and falling off stages, I think, oh, yeah, anyone can do that. So going back to your question there, I would say Joe Pasquale was quite, you know, big in the 80s and 90s. And I took influence from him. And going right back, I always cite my biggest heroes being Ken Dodd, just for the, you know, if you could bottle... The problem with Ken Dodd's act, of course, was that he went on for so long and he became synonymous for doing really long shows. And so always felt that he had to do really long shows. And in actual fact, if you'd condensed just, you know, into 2 45-minute halves of Ken Dodd show, you would be blown away even to his dying day, where you'd be going, that is the best comedy I have ever seen. And he would have blown everyone away. But he went on that longevity thing, which is good on him. Listen, he could do what he wanted. He was a legend. So the likes of Ken Dodd, without a doubt, brilliant.
It surprised me you said Joe Pasquale, because I never thought Joe Pasquale was the visual. You know, when you put the balls in your mouth, you did the juggling and the falling over. Did Joe ever do that kind of stuff? I can't remember now.
Yeah, he did a lot of things like that. I used to. I do you know one of the things I've worked with Joe Pasquale since one of the earliest, if you like, you know, big gigs that I did was I did the Old Time Music Hall at the Leeds Varieties Theatre, which coincidentally, big hint to my tour coming up. We're back at the Leeds Varieties on the tour later this year. I know, great link that. But I did the Old Time Music Hall there back in about 1995, 96 sort of time. And Joe Pasquale was on with me then, and he used to do a thing in his act where he used to have some candles on a stick. It was just stupid, but he used to come on and he'd have candles lit on a candelabra and just hold his hand over them and just go ha 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 ha. It was brilliant, and I love the stupid. And going back to the Ken Dodd thing as well, Ken Dodd used to do a brilliant thing that stuck with me for years. He used to go on with a big bass drum and sing Silent Night, which I just think is just beautiful. The idea you just can bang the one instrument in the whole orchestra that you would not associate with Silent Night is a big bass drum. I used to love that. And that's the sort of thing. Yeah, Joe Pasquale did a lot of visual comedy.
Going back to the falling over things and the visual stuff, does any of it hurt, though? Seriously?
Do you know, it sounds like getting old now, but yeah. And funny enough, in Britain's Got Talent in the final, do you know, I've not watched it back. I've not watched Britain's Got Talent. I've watched the semi-final once, I think. Yeah, I watched the semi-final. I've never watched the final back. But when I did it, someone said you can't briefly see it. When I did the dive, I was pretending to swim in the sea with all the family involved. We did this dive, we dive one way and then dive the other way. And we had crash mats down, and my crash mat had moved slightly. And as I dived, my glasses flew off and I hit my finger into the ground. You can still see it's still slightly swollen. My middle finger on my right hand is still slightly swollen. So, and I put that down just to, you know, older bones taking longer to heal these days. But in terms of being physical, I've just always been physical. And the leg kick, again, I do my big high leg kick that I've done for years and years, doing stupid dancing. And there'll come a point where I'll kick him, and that'll be it. I'll know it's the end because I've pulled the muscles or pulled my hamstring or something. But I do enjoy it.
So Boris says now that we can go out and meet people in person and do live shows. Stevie, what have you got coming up, mate?
Well, I've got my tour. It's my priority at the moment, and I hope I get a lot of little warm-up gigs. They're coming in quite well now. The little usual comedy club gigs. But what I'm going to be doing some shows at the Blackpool Pleasure Beach in May half-term holidays. just to warm up a bit of the new material that I will be putting into the show, the tour show, which comes out in September and October. I'm all over the country. Really, really excited about it because I'm doing some fabulous venues that in the past I've done those venues, but supporting other acts. So it's really exciting to go there and actually be performing them in my own right, if you like. So yeah, I'm looking forward. That's the Steve's Royal Variety Performance, and I can't wait.
I like the wording on that. Steve's Royal Variety Performance. I love that.
Yeah, I had to go down that route, didn't I? Do you know what? A lot of people said that, you know, when I did Britain's Got Talent, and you mentioned it there about being the slapstick, because I've done the alternative circuit for so many years, it's actually a long time since I've done that kind of stupid humor. And it's almost refreshing for me. I'm coming at it, not only the fact that we have 12 months of lockdown, but I'm coming at it reinvigorated by the fact that I'm doing material that I haven't done for years and years, and collating it and putting it back together in a slightly different way than I did before to make it a bit more spectacular and hopefully funnier. And so I'm having fun doing that as well.
Who persuaded you to do BGT then in the end? Was it something you wanted to do? Or
no, I'd refused for years and years. About 8 years ago, yeah, exactly 8 years ago, because I did look it up. They asked me, and I went down to London to meet the producers, and they were really keen and wanted me to do the show. And in the end, I didn't do the show that year because they pulled me at the last minute, said, no, we don't want you to do the show, that we've got too many of that kind of act, you know, the old school humor, as they called it. And I went, I was a bit offended by that. I went, well, I won't do it again. And every year they phoned me up, and I said no, every single year, until this year. The big difference this year was that I do pantomime in Blackpool at the Grand Theatre every year. And I have done for 18 years, and I love that theatre. So much so that when the Opera House announced, which is a bigger theatre in Blackpool, that's a 3,000 seater, it's a huge venue. They announced they were going to do a pantomime for the first time ever. They kind of broke an old gentleman's agreement that they never would, and they announced they were going to do a pantomime. And I said, do you know what? I'm just going to do Britain's Got Talent to give us a little bit of a boost. I thought if I can get 5 minutes of telly out of it, then it might sell a few more tickets for the pantomime. Inevitably, we all then got locked down, didn't we? And none of us did a pantomime, but I at least came out with third place in a talent competition. So yeah, I'm more than happy that I did it and caved in the end.
Yeah, but look how far you went, right through to the final as well, which is, you know, and it's very rare that me and the wife are full on the final with our favorite acts. So everybody on the final, when you're standing there on stage, John Courtney, there was yourself, and there was the signing group as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
there as well.
Yeah, Jade and Christian. Yeah.
All the
do you know what? I know you've spoken to John about this, and the beauty is, I mean, we have a little chat group together on Instagram, and we all stay in touch. And I couldn't have been on stage with a better bunch of people. We all stood at we all, because what we've been through as well, you know, it dragged on longer than we'd all thought. You know, we all thought it'd be over and done with in May, and instead in October we're still on that stage together. And the camaraderie, there's not one single one of us that you would begrudge winning that at all. And it was just lovely, the whole experience. And I really hope we all keep in touch. I've said this openly in the past, I'd love to try and arrange, when we get back to some kind of normality, book a really big theatre, the likes of maybe the Opera House in Blackpool, something like that, and do a big show and try and raise, you know, some money for the sign along guys, because they're a charity at the end of the day, and they need as much support as they can, because they're doing really, really good work for something that needs recognition. And it'd be lovely to be part of a big of all the finalists from last year who went through it together, all sort of reappearing on stage together. I'd love that to happen if we can.
If you do that, I'll come and host it for you as the presenter.
That'd be even better. Even better. Brilliant.
Oh, brilliant. Steve Royle from Britain's Got Talent. Where can people find out more about your tour, where they can find you if you want to get tickets?
Yeah, just go to my website, Steve Royle, and it's ROYLE, not AL, ROYLE comic. So steveroyle.com, steveroyle.com.
Fabulous.
Just go to my website. Check out all the dates are on there.
Fabulous. Have you got any balls with you, by the way? You can structure.
Do you know what? I always do. Did you need that?
Oh.
A little bit of cheating for you, a bit of cheating there. Look at that. And this song come fine. And a big finale finish. There you go. Always working.
Did John tell you I threw him under the bus and got him to do his song that the producer told him not to do, by the way? Did he tell you that?
Oh, no, he didn't tell me that. No, I mean, he must have enjoyed doing it because he told me it was worth doing this.
Yeah,
So,
he did.
he did it.
Something I Must Not Die or something. That song that the producers told him not to do.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Funny,
So he did it. He did it, and it's on our podcast, and it's on video that he's performed for me exclusively. Oh, I love him forever for that.
Well, again, this is an advantage of when we go on tour. We'll all be able to do a lot of things that we're told. Oh, just be careful with that. You don't want to offend people. The beauty of doing the story is you know that everyone's on your side when you go out on that stage. So I think we'll all be doing some riskier stuff than we did on telly.
I can't see you doing risky stuff, Steve. You're a family entertainer. Please don't tell me you swear and all that lot.
There'll be no swear. I will for this tour. I will cut out. If you come and see me do stand up, I always start. I do some quite risky stuff quite early on, just so people know when I do stand up. And when they see that, and I can see their faces, and I always go, yeah, you're all thinking he didn't do this in Britain's Got Talent, did he? I go, no, I didn't. I'm hoping that on the strength of doing my big family show, I'll eventually go out and do an adult show. People like Billy Pierce, another name we never could have mentioned early on, has been one of my heroes. He used to always do really well with that. He'd do a big family show in the summer, and then in winter he'd go out and do his adult show. And people going, oh my word, he's a bit risky, isn't he?
My biggest hero, and he's still with us at the moment, but I think he is cracking on a bit in age. He doesn't live here anymore. He lives in Barbados. You know Russ Abbott?
Is that what Russ Abbott lives in Barbados now? Oh, yeah, again.
Cliff.
No, really?
Yeah.
That's mad. Basildon Bond and all that.
That was the first comedy show my mum and dad took me to see at Blackpool Pier, and I bought the album, the Madhouse record album.
Yeah. Russ Abbott's man. Oh, he was brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. He did everything, didn't he? And then he started doing serious acting. He was good at that as well, wasn't he? He was one of the,
I never watched him doing that because when I saw him in Last of the Summer Wine,
yeah, destroy it.
I wanted him to go do Cooper Man or do Basildon Bond or do something. He was being serious. I'm like, don't like it now.
Yeah. Destroying your illusions of what you thought. It was properly mad.
Yeah. Steve Royle, thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for letting me interview you as well. All the very best. What's coming your way now that we can go and see people in person out of lockdown and stuff. And I hope. You got a TV series coming up or anything on telly? When are we going to see you on telly next? Anyway.
What's I got next? I can't say something, but the CBBC. There's things in the pipeline there that might happen. Otherwise, nothing immediate. But you never know, do you? You never know. That's how this business works.
Steve, thank you very much for your time. Cheers, matey.
Thanks very much. Take care.